Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we have the Chung, the all-new Tier 8 Pan-Asian Destroyer. It's a Fletcher in Tier 8, and if you know anything about me, I love me some Fletcher. So Chung on my list. Now the Pan-Asian ships, the Pan-Asian Destroyers haven't been always at the top of my list, just because they can be a bit difficult to play, but I wanted to give Chung a chance, and I am so happy that I did. So, what do you need to know about it? Well, it's fairly fast for being a Fletcher. It tops out around 38 knots, which is pretty impressive. Has the standard 5 guns, 2 torpedo racks. In this game here, we do only have one of the upgrades equipped, because I ran out of GXP, because, well, I needed the GXP to boost my way through some certain other ships, so yeah, I only had enough GXP to boost up to get the hull upgrade, so we have an accurate amount of health here, but our torpedoes and our guns aren't fully there. The torpedoes do get a significant upgrade. They go up to 66 knots, they get a damage increase, and they also get a slight range increase when you do the upgrade, and then the guns are an upgrade, and that's the standard flat 10% gun upgrade range, which can be very nice. So Chung, tons of fun. As far as our commander goes, we are running this as a gunboat, 5.9 kilometer concealment, which is pretty good for a gunboat, if I'm being honest. Usually you would expect like a 6 kilometer gunboat range as far as concealment goes, so 5.9 is slightly better than normal, I would say. Anyways, we are on Greece, and if you notice our position, you may be saying, Tommy, you are not practicing what you preach. Because yes, I know I'm a destroyer, and I went straight to B here on Greece, which I am always harping on, but at this point, there are 4 destroyers in the match, and they looked like they were going to evenly spread, so it looked like it was actually going to be advantageous to have a destroyer in the middle of B, so that's just what we're doing. We've thrown out our first set of torps here. Bismarck did his thing where he, charged in because YOLOing in German battleships is fun, and he didn't have much of battle impact. Anyways, at this point now we're kind of keeping an eye on the radar. That Republic looks like a juicy target, and we're about to have our torpedoes back up for grabs. While we wait on all that to go over, let's go ahead and go over the commander we are running. We have good old Sa Zan Bang. Like I said, he's a gunboat commander. We are running Observant Rage Mortar, Perceptive, Smoke on the Water, and Unstoppable, with the 2 inspirations being Eric Bay and Williamson's for that little boost in concealment and that big ol' boost in the health. At this point, Republic has gone ahead and turned in. We're waiting on those torpedo tubes to reload, just because I want to get them off towards this Republic. He doesn't seem to be caring that we were horizontal to him and therefore probably launched torps, and we're just trying to keep this last bit in the target to see what goes on, and then we're going to use this island right here to disengage from Republic, so that we can kind of reset and see just what our torps do. Kind of at this point deciding I don't think those torps are going to be good enough. Let's go ahead and burn our 1 of 2 torpedo reload boosters, because this ship does have 2 torpedo reload boosters, which are incredibly useful, as we picked up 3 torpedo hits right there. I want to be able to finish off Republic here if necessary. Deep water torps, they tend to cause flooding, they tend to be incredibly stealthy, and they tend to do some pretty high damage, of course, at the trade-off of not being able to hit other destroyers, which can put us at a slight disadvantage compared to most other destroyers. One other quirk of the Pan-Asian line, if you haven't gotten too far within this line, that you should probably know about, is starting at Gajamada, which is the tier 6, you are able to equip radar as opposed to smoke, which can be quite fun, though you definitely need to know your positioning and what you're exactly planning on doing, because the smokes on these boats are incredibly powerful. You're going to see us use them multiple times in this match, because they're a nice kind of middle ground between other nations' smokes. They have a decent dispersion time. They hang around for a decent amount of time, but most importantly, they recharge incredibly quickly, which means you're kind of able to shoot and scoot. You see here where we're like, okay, our torpedoes aren't going to come and hit this Bismarck as he's turning out. Let's go ahead and pop our smoke here, kind of maybe lure him in, but more importantly, see if we can set a couple of fires on him while he goes broadside. We can kind of help maintain these spots, get a little bit of extra damage here. And now that he's kind of coming around this way, it's time for us to kind of be a little bit cautious because, of course, Bismarck does have that sonar, and I'm sure he would be mighty enjoying being able to do some damage to us. Atlantico pops up over here. We're going to see if we can do some damage here. We're just going to get kind of straight shatters on Atlantico. We didn't cover the armor in yesterday's video. It does have some pretty decent armor. You can see we are just getting shatters, and then we kind of try out the AP, but even in a little bit of the upper belt, we're not really getting full pens. Bismarck popping up once again. We're going to control this island right here, and at this moment, I'm like, okay, we activated our engine boost. Atlantico has kind of committed here, right? He's very much committed. We're only 12 seconds off from our torpedoes reloading. Let's go ahead and do ourselves a drive-by on Atlantico. We're kind of in the perfect place where we can maintain the distance so that he's not able to spot us straight off the rip, through the island, but via proximity spot. But we have enough speed to get those torpedo tubes reloaded, which is very important when you do these drive-bys. You don't want to be spotted when you're still trying to reload the torpedo, because if you get hit and it destroys the module, it's going to reset that torpedo reload time, which can set you back a mighty big amount. We see Atlantico secondaries go off right there. I was kind of hoping to see primaries fired, hoping so that we didn't catch any rounds from him, but at this point, we've kind of committed to this. We take hits from the front. Our first rack of torpedoes goes ahead, knocks him down after 3 hits, and we've kind of secured a B here. And as far as ships goes, the match is all tied up. And at this point, I'm kind of confused at who exactly is spotting me. I assume at this point that Bismarck is running the RGA, because he doesn't have sonar out, but he's within proximity to be able to spot me if he's using that RGA mod. So we're going to try to get the distance between us and him expanded out a little bit more. Keep an eye on him as far as where he is, because we want to be able to, we have this other rack of torpedoes that we could be able to dump at him, and we also have these 2 other destroyers that we need to be cautious of as we start to pop up on the sonar of the Bismarck. So at this point, we just need to get on out of here, try to keep that Bismarck at more than 4.5 kilometers, and we're going to go ahead and dump torps. Now, these torps aren't to really do damage, right? We know he can see them. The more important thing, though, is we want him to turn in. You may be saying, Tommy, why do you want him to turn in? It's a smaller target for you. Yes, but he still has his sonar running, which means he can still spot us. If he spots us and he's broadside, there's a lot of secondary real estate. The side of his broadside has all of his secondaries on it that will be able to fire at us. So if we can force him to maintain a nose in position on us, we can reduce the number of secondaries that he can bring to bear on us, meaning even if he has us spotted, we don't take as much damage, which is exactly what we did there. Cool. Bismarck's down. We're up by 1 ship. We're tied on points, and we are in a bit of a pickle, I'm going to call it, because we do have 2 destroyers over here, and we do need to be incredibly cautious. We hit a couple of good hits right there on the Sumner, but we are maintaining spot, which tells me I think it was a Z-35, whatever the other German, the German destroyer that we caught a glimpse of earlier, is abound. And I'm like, okay, how do we want to approach this? Because he, of course, could probably have torpedoes. We don't have that option. We are going to have to use our guns, and that is decent for us because I'll let you in on a little secret. Fletcher is one of the best gunboats in the game. It can hold up fairly well, and which is why I think I really enjoy Chung as an overall platform, where earlier having a Benson when you'd come up against Fletchers felt like a huge disadvantage. A Fletcher platform is an incredibly strong gunboat, which means giving up your ability for your torpedoes to be used in destroyer duels is okay, because guess what? You have the ability to use those Fletcher guns, and those Fletcher guns are still incredibly powerful as we take out the Z right there. and we go ahead and start to slow down right here because we want to get out of where he might have guessed to throw torpedoes at us. Because, right, he could have been throwing torpedoes during that little gun battle. We're going to kind of push over where he couldn't have been able to launch his torpedoes, pick up Sumner. He sees us and actually is able to get one shell through. And we can see he is severely hurt right now, which is good for us, which means we can kind of mess with him. We don't want to push around this corner quite yet, because if I was him, I would be torping that gap. Because if I was an overeager destroyer captain who knew he had a health advantage, I'd maybe would want to push my advantage while he was still in spotting range, come around the corner, and, well, eat torpedoes. And you can still see that overeagerness is still there in me, because I almost retimed myself to getting into the torpedoes. We come out just a little broadside around the Sumner. We know he can't launch any more torpedoes. We only need to land like a salvo or two. We miss on that first one, and, well, we were able to finish him off on that second one while he does start 2 fires on us. We clear the cap, and now we can just sit back and relax and watch as it looks like that that last battleship has sat down on a certain casting couch, because he's being surrounded by 2 sides, by destroyers and a battleship on a third. So good luck to him as we go ahead and make this cap. But guys, that's Chung. Like I said, I think Chung hits that perfect balance where, like, you still have the ability to hit back as a torpedo, as a gunboat, but you get incredibly strong torpedoes that you are able to throw out at cruisers and battleships that can be incredibly effective. So overall, I think Chung makes grinding the Pan-Asian line even better, and it makes a great cap for it so far. So get out there. If you can't afford it, good luck. Get out there and enjoy it. If you can't afford it, I understand, because silver's a rough game these days. But guys, that's the match. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.